All right, shout out to Jane again for that box breathing session before I got up here. Thanks. All right, let's talk about some yodeling. Most of us know what yodeling sounds like. It's that beautiful noise somewhere between a musical note and a hiccup. But have you ever stopped to think about what's actually happening anatomically when someone yodels, or where this unique vocal style comes from historically? I chose to present on yodeling today because I've been fascinated by it since I was young. It's a beautiful art form that requires remarkable vocal control and agility, making it truly a difficult skill to master. In this presentation, I'll be diving into both the rich history of yodeling and the vocal technique behind this expressive style of singing. Yodeling is believed to have originated in the alpine regions of Switzerland and Austria. It was used by herders to communicate across mountains and valleys between alpine villages. It is said that certain notes and sounds within a yodel actually meant words to the villagers, referred to as the melodic language of the mountains. Yodeling has played a meaningful role in the history and traditions of many cultures around the world. While I can only begin to touch on the topic this evening, ethnomusicologists generally point to two main theories of how yodeling spread from one culture to another. While many believe yodeling got its start in the Central Alps, the truth is no one will ever know for sure. Yodeling was also thought to have originated in West Africa among the Pygmy tribes. Their music features quick shifts in pitch using changes in vowel sounds, a technique they've used for generations in hunting calls, ceremonial songs, and tribal lullabies. Yodeling found its way to the United States in the 19th century, brought by European immigrants. The influence of the Southern community's blues and gospel music made yodeling what it is today and gave it more soul. And there it was born, the sound of the American cowboy yodel. I personally like to focus on the famous cowgirl yodelers like Carolina Cotton and Patsy Montana. Patsy Montana was the first female country performer to have a million-selling single with her signature song, I Want to Be a Cowboy's Sweetheart. This was the first yodeling song that I ever learned to sing. Yodeling is present in modern-day music across a lot of genres that you may not realize. Artists like Shakira and Chappell Roan have brought yodeling into the pop world. Some DJs and electronic producers have sampled classic yodels or reimagined them in remixes, using the sound as a nostalgic hook. I fell in love with yodeling at the age of 5. Leanne Rimes was the country artist who initially inspired me to give yodeling a try. My first CD was Blue, and I played it on repeat, trying to match her pitch and imitate her sound. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was convinced that I was nailing it. I'm sure my brothers did not appreciate this phase of my life, but my parents thought I might be onto something, so they signed me up for vocal lessons. Shout out to Tom and Shell's Bells here in the audience. None of my vocal coaches claimed to be able to yodel themselves, but they provided me with minus tracks and helped me find gigs to perform. I sang and yodeled at all kinds of events growing up. This is a photo of me at 12 years old, fully committed in lederhosen, performing at a USANA convention. I was hired to give away a trip to Switzerland because nothing says Swiss getaway like a tiny American yodeler with braids and a costume. The voice has two main registers, the chest voice and the head voice. When a singer is belting, like Beyonce here, the queen, they're using their diaphragm to push their vocal cords into higher pitches while staying in the chest voice. Yodeling, on the other hand, involves a quick switch from chest voice to falsetto. That sudden shift is what creates the signature break or flip. Falsetto is basically a high-pitched version of the head voice, but with less air support. In yodeling, singers flip between vocal registers several times in just a matter of seconds. In a classic yodel, the yodel part stays in the chest voice while the hee-hoo jumps into the falsetto notes. The space between the vocal registers is called passaggio. The difference in passaggio between men and women is pretty significant. Most of the time, women have a wider chest voice range, which can make it harder to clean flip into falsetto. Men usually sing in a lower key, making the yodeling pop more noticeable and more dramatic. Now let's get in, sorry for the photo, but you had to see what's going on. Now let's get into what's actually happening with the vocal cords when we switch between registers. The vocal cords are two triangular bands of tissue that sit on top of the larynx, right above your windpipe. When you sing, these cords come together and vibrate. This causes vibrato, a subtle change in pitch that gives the note more depth. Yodeling involves popping the vocal cords apart rapidly or shortening and lengthening the vocal cord tissue quickly. They remain loose for the lower notes and pull tighter for the higher notes. Basically, if your voice had a gym membership, yodeling would be leg day. Now, after all this yodel talk, you guys probably want to hear some yodeling. It doesn't have to be just the traditional yodel-a-hee-hoo. You can throw in some hide-a-lays and some loo-dee-doos. For example, loo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-dee-oh, hide-a-lo-doo-dee-oh, hide-a-lo-dee-dee-dee. And then you can go back into the traditional yodel. He taught me to yodel, yodel-o-dee-eh, he yodel-o-dee-eh, he yodel-o-dee. He taught me to yodel, yodel-o-dee-eh, he yodel-o-dee-eh. Yodel-a, yodel-a, yodel-o, yodel-o, yodel-a, yodel-o-dee. Yodel-a, yodel-o-dee, yodel-a, yodel-o-dee. Yodel-a, yodel-a, yodel-o, yodel-o, yodel-a, yodel-o-dee. Yodel-a, yodel-o-dee, yodel-a-dee. And then kick it into double time. Yodel-a, 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 yodel-o, 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 yodel-a, 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 yodel-o-dee. Yodel-a, 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 yodel-o, 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 yodel-o. Loo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Hide-a-lo-dee-dee-oh, hide-a-lo-dee-dee-oh, hide-a-lo-dee. Woo, hide-a-lo-dee-dee-oh, hide-a-lo-dee-dee-oh,